All right, good morning, traders. Today is November 18th, 2025. Wow, the year has gone by fast. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for all of the likes. Thank you for all of the following, the thumbs up, the kind words, sharing the content. Special shout out Bob Jordan, Jim Jordan, John Jordan, everybody, Kathy, Sarah Roasted, everybody that helps share the content, get the good word out there. All right, let's take a look at the markets and see how we're going to trade them today. Before I get started, we got Member E-Learning Thursday, November 20th. That's in 2 days. The topic's going to be technical analysis over view of chart patterns, candlestick formations, and key indicators. All right, so that's this Thursday in 2 days. That'll be inside the combo room. To get to the combo room, see what we can do here to include and inform. All right, to get to the combo room, you would, well, first you'd log in. And then you would go to your member page and you'd look over to the right and there'd be a link to sign in to the combo room. Let me see if I can find it. Not being able to get into the server right now, so we'll come back to that. All right. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning, 669.25. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Diamond Dow, SPY, IWM made lower highs and lower lows, closing under their traps under the 17 EMAs. FNGU, QQQ made inside days, closing under their traps under their 17 EMAs. SPY closed 2-hour downtrend and a weak one candle 10-minute uptrend. Currently, SPY has, I think it's got a 10-minute downtrend currently. See a big green candle bar right now, so we'll see what happens with that. So SPY is in a 10-minute downtrend. Gold in a daily uptrend still. Silver also in a daily uptrend. I think both made lower highs and lower lows, closing under their traps, but over their 17 EMAs. USO in a daily downtrend, made an inside day. It's a lower high, higher low, closing over a bearish trap and over the 17 EMA. UNG in a daily uptrend, made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. US dollar index remains in the bear flag, but in a daily uptrend, closed near the 99.54 area. SPY max pain for today, 668. Put to call ratio of about 3/4 of a put for each call that expires today at 4:15. If this is your first time watching this, these right here are in daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. These are in daily These are in daily uptrends over the 17 EMA. These are in daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. If it's got a star next to it, it's building out a bull flag, or I call it a launch pad from which to launch higher. If it's got a star next to it over here, it's building out a platform from which, or a bear flag from which to dip lower. All right, so let's take a peek at the market this morning. All right, here's the pre-market. We've got a 10-minute downtrend right here. All right, my plan this morning, if this downtrend still exists, is to continue to trade the 10-minute downtrend. Again, looking for a opportunity to jump into that 10-minute downtrend. I'd be looking for a red candle. I would not want a candle that has more tail than body and wick. I would not want a doji. I would not want a spinning top. And I certainly would not want a green candle if I'm going to jump into the 10-minute downtrend. Okay, I want something that shows me bears are large and in charge. All right, so that's what I'm looking for. this morning. If that 10-minute exists an hour and a half from now, we'll see what happens. A lot could change from there. Keep in mind we are near a tested uptrend line right through here that starts back on October about 13th right here. So we've got this uptrend line. So we've got the head and shoulders pattern, and it's been tested several times. So who knows how far this downtrend is going to continue. I can see we're bouncing right now on some support, being since see that green candle taking over right there. Okay, so on the game plan, what do we got here? If that 10-minute downtrend does not exist, all right, I'll be looking for, we have consolidation under consolidation. So that's a bearish environment. All right, so I'll be looking for a downtrend. But if there's no downtrend when the market opens, all right, I will simply box off the first 15 minutes and probably trade the breakout from the first 15 minutes. Okay, for the SPY game plan, we've got green erases red over 673. The pivot 669.25. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Red erases green under 662.10. All right, underneath 662.10 is a red erases green entry. I like 3 days and 10 days till expiration Friday options for both SPY and QQQ on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest and the high liquidity. I trade strikes that are $2 to $15 out of the money. I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, and I'll trade 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Specifically like the downtrends to have broken the bearish 10-minute rubber band candle. I specifically like the uptrends to break the 10-minute bullish rubber band candle. So we'll see what happens, all right? We're looking for 10-minute downtrend continuation on what we have going on right through here. All right, so there's SPY. Let's take a look at QQQ. We're going to come back to SPY. QQQ in the pre-market got a 10-minute downtrend as well. All right, so 10-minute downtrend on QQQ. Again, I would be trading the 10-minute downtrend the same way that I would trade SPY. I would be looking for a opportunity to fall in to the 10-minute trend. So in other words, I'd be looking for a red candle, no dojis, all right, no spinning tops, no green candles, no candles that have more tail than body and wick. If the 10-minute trend does not exist, I'll be looking for the first 15-minute candle, the first 15 minutes of candles, all right, and I'll look for a breakout on the first 15 minutes. Bear in mind, SPY, QQQ, same location as SPY. It's got a little support area right through here. It starts back on the 13th. So we're in this support area. Who knows how far that 10-minute trend will go on the downside. Okay, back to the 10-minute chart. And we'll pick this up right here. You'll see on the 10-minute chart, QQQ had a weak 2-candle uptrend, well, 1-candle uptrend right here on QQQ coming into the close yesterday. So a weak 1-candle uptrend coming into the close. On the 2-hour chart, we have a 2-hour downtrend. You can see candlesticks riding on the 3 EMA. That's the thin yellow line right here underneath the thin white line, which is the 8 EMA. So 2-hour downtrend coming into the close. A weak 1-candle 10-minute uptrend coming into the close yesterday. Same thing on SPY. Okay, on SPY we had, okay, on the 2-hour chart, you can see candlesticks riding on top of the 3 EMA, riding under the 3 EMA, 3 EMA riding under the 8 EMA. You've got daylight between both the 3 and the 8. So you've got a 2-hour downtrend coming into the close. And on the 10-minute, you can see back here we have same thing as QQQ. All right, a week 1 candle, 10-minute uptrend coming into the close, but a strong 2-hour downtrend coming into the close. All right, on the daily chart for SPY, right here we got a lower high, lower low, closing under bearish trap underneath the 17 EMA. Okay, so if we look at this over here, we're in the middle of quadrant 4 and we're still in a downtrend. We have not fixed anything yet. All right, ever since we broke and made a lower low, we have not fixed anything, so we have a downtrend in SPY. Same thing on QQQ. All right, we've got yesterday, no, not the same thing. Inside day for QQQ, lower high, higher low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. QQQ in the middle of quadrant 4 up here. QQQ is still in a downtrend. They got a low, they made a lower low, so got a lower high and a lower low, so they're in a downtrend as well up there in quadrant 4. So we're up in bullish territory, but we're in a downtrend on both QQQ and SPY. Let's take a look at FNGU. All right, FNGU got inside day as well, lower high, higher low, closing under bearish trap underneath the 17, underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, tackling this major support right through here. All right, if they lose this major support, things could start falling apart. Showing the bearish head and shoulders on FNGU, showing the bearish head and shoulders on QQQ. This would be the right shoulder. All of this is the left shoulder. Showing the bearish head and shoulders on SPY. Again, a lower right shoulder and left shoulder over here. So there's SPY on the daily chart. Okay, so all 3 of them showing bearish head and shoulders patterns currently. All right, let's take a look at IWM. Hey, congratulations to Jim. Jim traded IWM 235 puts yesterday. Nice trade. He picked them up for 10 cents and wound up closing them out right around $3. Wow, what a ride, Jim. Way to go. IWM on the daily chart, lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap, under the 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, barely being able to contain itself inside quadrant 4 up here. So it's in a downtrend, but up in bullish territory, quadrant 4. So we'll see. There's IWM on the daily chart. Let's take a look at a lot of weakness in the market out there. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow, remember Diamond Dow about 5 days ago made a new all-time high. Well, how quickly things change. We've got a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap, under the 17 EMA, under the uptrend line, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Right there's the all-time high. And still in quadrant 4, so we're bullish up here, but definitely in a downtrend, and things are being broken up here by the bears. All right, we've got an uptrend that's breaking. We've got we've got lows being taken out. Okay, so we got lower low, so we're in a downtrend up there in quadrant 4 for Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at silver and gold. All right, here's gold for yesterday. Lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish cross under the 17 EMA. Gold still in an uptrend up here in middle of quadrant 4. So bullish and still in an uptrend for gold. Silver also in a daily uptrend. Gold, both gold and silver in daily uptrends. Silver lower high, lower low, closing underneath a bullish trap, but over The 17 EMA still bullish and in an uptrend. They're on both silver and gold. Let's take a look at UNG. All right, UNG still in an uptrend and has not made a lower low. Went up there and tackled the 2025 all-time high anchored VWAP. Was not able to climb on top of it and hold the higher ground. Matter of fact, it's already begun to melt away from it. Got a lower high, lower low, closing underneath a bullish trap and over the rising 17 EMA. Still in quadrant 1, so that's bearish and in an uptrend on UNG. We'll see if they get inspired, if they can. We got trend right here that could. Maybe they pull back to trend and J-hook and make another run at it. We'll see what happens. There's UNG. Let's take a look at USO. USO we have for yesterday's candle is an inside day. It's a lower high, higher low, closing over a bearish trap and over the 17 EMA. That's USO on the daily chart. Still in a downtrend, making lower highs, making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Still underneath this downtrend line right here. Okay, we're not in the upper third of the quadrant lines. We're not in the lower third. Lower third would be bearish. Upper third would be bullish. We're just in the middle, so we're neutral and in a downtrend and under the downtrend line right there that lasts about 5 months, 4 months right there. That's USO. All right, let's take a look at our technicals. Then we'll hit the economic package, and that's going to be it. T2101, all right, as we melted down yesterday, we got more and more participation from the market. Okay, that's T2101. So looking like the bulls, the bears are being inspired to participate when the market goes down. Okay, not what I like to see. T2122 spent most of the day inside the sell zone, and at the end of the day we made an appearance inside the oversold zone, so more bearish confirmation right there. T2123 new low, pullback from the all-time high low right here yesterday. Again, small caps and mid caps just melting off. Again, we're under the 200 SMA. We're down here in quadrant 1. All right, so here's some under the 200 SMA. This is bearish. All right, not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bull, unless I'm a bear, and I'm not a bear. So again, we make lower lows. Now I said earlier, if you remember, I said we made a lower high. And my question out there was, will the bears be inspired to make the lower low? And yes, they did. So showing a lot of bearish control recently in the markets, all right, with a lot of downtrends. You can see this is the New York Stock Exchange. All of the stocks in the stock exchange making a series of lower highs and lower lows, another lower high and a lower low. And again, we do it again, and we can't seem to find or hold up over the 200 SMA. You can see right here, looking like a 2 or 3 day hold, and then we lose it. Looking like a 2 or 4 day hold, and then we lose it. Looking like a 2 or 3 day hold, and then we lose it. On top of that, we're getting bearish gap downs that are not getting filled by the bulls. Bearish gap down here, not filled by the bulls. Another one yesterday, bearish gap down, not filled by the bulls, showing a lot of weakness on the bulls' part. Have they given up? I don't know. Where is the line in the sand for the bulls? We need to find out soon. All right, but just assume that the bears are in charge until the bulls find that line in the sand that they're willing to defend. T2123. 3-bar chart. 3-bar chart, you can see price action underneath the 200 SMA. Again, bearish, all right, down here in quadrant 1. Not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear. I'm not a bear. So there we go with the 200. Underneath 200 again on the 3-bar chart. Still in a downtrend. From the perspective of the April low to the rally all-time high up here, you can see we're still almost in quadrant 4, okay? We're losing it. You can see we poked through right here. All right? I'm expecting some bulls to possibly show up right through there. All right? So maybe a few more days of selling. We'll see. All right? But that's the Head and Shoulders that was decapitated from the last time. Okay? So we have a Head and Shoulders program that was decapitated the last time. And the bulls showed up there. Hopefully, we'll see if the bulls are going to show up here one more time. Currently, we're showing, again, a bearish Head and Shoulders. This being the head, that being the left shoulder, and all of this the right shoulder right now. So that's T2123 3-bar chart, FNGU. On the 15-minute chart, you can see more consolidation under consolidation. That is a bearish environment. Look for downtrends to trade on FNGU or in the market, especially QQQ and SPY. If we're going to have consolidation under consolidation, all right, this is going to be a bearish outlook for me, and I will look for more downtrends to trade in SPY and QQQ. Being since FNGU is 10 of the most heavily weighted stocks or securities in SPY and QQQ, they will definitely, when they move as a pack, they will definitely drag both indices lower if they decide to head lower. Wherever they decide to move, higher or lower, they tend to drag the indices right along with them because of those 10 heavyweights that are in the FNGU. So there's 15-minute chart. Again, we've got a lower high, and you can see we have a low here, lower low. So downtrend in FNGU continues for the 15-minute chart. Again, underneath the 200 SMA, underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. Both places, not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear, and I'm not a bear, but that's what we got right now. All right, so we'll see what happens with the markets this morning. We're sitting on some support. Okay, so you can see here's FNGU. This is line right through there. Okay, all of this is major support. We start melting through this, and we could see a lot more deterioration in the market. And I'm talking, close to 600, maybe even 550 when it comes to SPY. All right, so there's FNGU on the 15-minute chart. Okay, let's take a look at our indicators, not our economic package, not our indicators, economic package. All right, max pain for today, 668. Yep. And about 3/4 of a put for each call that expires today. Okay, on the dollar chart, I'm going to zoom way out. You can see price action comes down and over to the right. We're still in a bear flag. But inside that bear flag, the bulls have managed to arrange a daily uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs, another higher low and higher high, another higher low. If they can climb on top of this peak right here and hold that higher ground, I think they're going to capture the flag. All right, so we'll see what happens. But big bear flag, but we got a daily uptrend inside that big bear flag. All right, on earnings reports, We got a main event this week, and that's going to be NVIDIA, and that's Wednesday evening. Make sure I got that right. Yeah, Wednesday evening. That's tomorrow night. Okay. Home Depot is going to report this morning. That will definitely help out the retail sector, maybe even the Diamond Dow. 380 billion there on Home Depot. PDD Homes Holdings, another conglomerate, 185 billion there. BHP still looking for the P&L. Medtronic, 122 billion they're going to report this morning. All of these are nice, but they're not market movers, nothing like NVIDIA, Google, Microsoft. All right, tomorrow night we're going to have NVIDIA's going to report after the close. $4.5 trillion is the market cap for NVIDIA. All right, that is capable of moving the markets. And then on Thursday, we've got the employment situation. It's going to be released in the economic numbers, so you might want to be hedged coming into the close on Wednesday evening, all right? Only because this could get whippy and wild and volatile, all right? TJX companies, they're going to report tomorrow morning, 181 billion. Palo Alto Networks, they're going to report right alongside NVIDIA, but you won't even hear much about them. The whole news day or news cycle will be probably all about NVIDIA right there. Palo Alto, 135 billion there. Lowe's Corporation, 128 billion. They're going to report tomorrow morning. Target Corporation, 40 billion. Okay, some of these just familiar names, but the big one, the market mover, NVIDIA, that's pretty much the main event, along with FOMC minutes on Wednesday afternoon. And then we're going to have the employment situation on Thursday. Okay, so there's earnings. We did Max Payne. Let's take a look at the economic calendar. All right, for the economic calendar for today, we're going to have industrial production, 9:15, housing market index, 10 o'clock, factory orders that were delayed from the reporting from previous date. All right, it's going to be released at 10 o'clock today, and that's it. Tomorrow, we've got housing starts and permits, MBA mortgage applications at 7, housing starts and permits at 8:30. We've got international trade in goods and services, 8:30, Atlanta Fed business.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Inflation
How you doing out there?
Expectation.
Thanks, everyone, for being here. Absolutely.
All right, that's going to come on at
Hey,
8:30.
I hear there's some problems out
10
there
o'clock,
logging
10
in.
o'clock,
Cloudflare's having
petroleum
troubles.
report at 10:30.
I guess
FOMC
that,
minutes,
that's one
2
of the
p.m.
things that can go wrong
all right,
with
tomorrow. And then on
the
Thursday,
tech world. There's actually a
pretty
lot
much
of little,
my main event, it's going to be the
a
employment
lot of little
situation
parts that's
at 8:30
so
on Thursday.
they're working on it. I'm pretty sure.
More of this
so
when
we'll
we get
done.
closer to
Say
it.
good morning, Chip. Hey, Gold.
That's it
How you
for
guys
me.
doing?
I'll see
Good morning.
everybody in
Ed, good morning. You're
about
here early this morning. You were late
35,
yesterday.
40 minutes, and we'll open up the markets.